Hello students, I am soft skills trainer from Department of Career Planning and Development, Chandigarh University. So student, today we'll be looking at one interview question. So let's look at the interview question that we have for you. So today we'll be looking at resume based questions. So there's this one question that I've prepared for you so that you can understand the context of the question, things that you need to say, things that you should be avoiding while answering this particular question. But before we go to the question, we need to understand what your resume based, because that question is actually based on your resume. So you need to understand what your resume actually what is your resume based questions. So your resume is actually the first thing that will go in the room to the hiring manager before you actually and physically be present in the room. So he will review your resume. So at times those hiring managers review a resume, let's say in 15-30 seconds, because they don't have a whole day to review a resume. So basis on that, they try and make some mental notes regarding yourself, regarding your personality, because they go through your educational details in a quick way, your key competencies that you mentioned, your technical skills that you mentioned, your extracurricular habits, your achievements. So they'll go through all these columns, because for a fresher, if you're a fresher, your resume should not be more than 2 pages. So generally for a fresher, a resume should be of 1.5 page. That's enough, because he is just a graduate. Okay, so he doesn't have such long experiences wherein you have to fill in 2-3 forms for that. So we expect that a resume is of like 1.5 page, and it hardly takes, let's say, 30 seconds to go through the entire resume. So he'll make some mental notes. He will try and also prepare some questions that he'll be asking to you. So that means you need to be thoroughly prepared with the content of your resume, and also you should be prepared with all the possible questions that can be asked from you based on your resume. So you can practice questions based on your resume by asking yourself the question that can be asked. Now this is a really simple thing to do. For example, if you have your resume, because you actually prepare resume by your own self, so it's quite easy to prepare those questions, because you can anticipate all the questions that can be asked. You just take your resume in front of you, start questioning yourself on the basis of the information that you have provided. For example, if written down that leadership is one such a key skill, so you can ask yourself, okay, give me an example where you've shown your leadership skill. Okay, prove me how that you are a good leader. So that means you should be ready with a lot of examples, your stories, I would say. So if someone asks something regarding your strength, you should be able to respond to that particular answer. So one sample question that we have for you is, what do you believe you gain from these experiences? Now this question is actually based if the candidate has mentioned some internship program or some experience that he has gained while working on a project. So for a fresh candidate, we generally think, okay, if he or she is an MBA student, we think, okay, if he or she has done like 2 or 3 internship, one might be online, one might be offline, or 2 might be online, one might be offline. So we actually try and understand, okay, how she has utilized her time during the internship program, or how she has utilized his or her time during the project that he or she was actually doing. So we understand his or her habits, what his or her learnings are, and then we try and judge, okay, whether this candidate is a perfect fit for the job or not. So this question is actually from from the midst of the interview. So interview might have started with the question, okay, tell me something about yourself. Then he gradually should have moved to other areas, and then when he was looking at the internship programs or the projects or the summer trainings that the candidate had undergone, so he must have asked this question, okay, what do you believe you gain from these experiences? Now first, before you start framing this question, you need to understand the context as to why this question is asked. Okay, now this is a very common interview question, and despite it being a straightforward question, it is important to prepare this question in advance with suitable example. Now again, this is a really common interview question. Most of the interview that you will go in, the HR or the hiring manager will end up asking this particular question, and it will be a straightforward question, and you can anticipate that particular question. But if you're not prepared with this particular question, that then I'm sorry, you'll be doomed for the interview, and you might say goodbye to your dream job. So again, it's a straightforward question. It's an important question, and that means you should be prepared with the sample answer that the best possible sample answer that you can have. Now this question is not just related to your work experience or your projects that you have worked upon. It throws light on your personality. Okay, understand this thing. It throws lights on your personality, that how well you learn from your past experiences, your past mistakes, and other situations that arise in your life. Again, this is the important aspect of this particular question, that the hiring manager is actually trying understanding, okay, how well you have taken your failures or your success in the past, and how well, okay, and what you have gained from those experiences. Okay, after gaining those abilities or skills or from your experience, have you ever utilized them again? Have you tried to polish them again? So these are the things that the hiring manager is actually looking for from the candidate. And well, candidate don't understand what the context, why this question is asked, what the context of asking this question, they end up giving a very generic answer. So you need to avoid giving generic answers in the interview. You need to be very specific and relevant when it comes to answering interview questions. Now, how to answer this question? Again, first thing is this thing that you need to be really specific while answering this question. The question is not just to highlight your ability to learn. Okay, it's good that you learn from your experience, but also to showcase your skill set. Okay, instead of simply stating what you have gained through your experience, talk about how you have mastered the skill and how you expect it to help you with this job. Now this is a really important line that you need to understand. Okay, you have done something in your previous job, or let's say in your previous company, or during your college days, or during your internship. Okay, you've learned something. Now if you're not utilized those skill set that you have gained, then that means that you are actually wasted, that means you are actually wasting your learning experience. So the interviewer actually looking for how you have mastered the skill, and how you'll be able to put those skill set into use. So you have to show, for example, if you have gone through the job description and you have learned something relevant to that particular job. For example, again, you are MBA student, you have done your internship in marketing, and actually you are giving an interview for the marketing manager or marketing assistant manager. So you need to tell them, okay, I have learned this thing during my internship, so I'll be applying what I have learned from that internship for this particular role. Now it will be a perfect fit and it will be a perfect answer. Okay, talk about how you have refined your skills through various experiences and help you to become a better version of yourself. Again, if those experience didn't had any effect on you, that means again that was a waste of your time. Talk about your usefulness. Again, it's really important. The question gives you an opportunity to emphasize how you can serve the company with the skill set you have. Again, if you have gained something through your experience, you need to emphasize on that and show that, okay, you can be a useful person, okay, you can be a useful asset for the company, because you are a learned individual. You have learned something that the company is actually looking for. Instead of simply answering this question, take time to discuss how these skills will help fulfill your role for the position you are being interviewed. So what I can tell you from these sentences, that first, that you need to read the job description really well. Second thing that you need to do is prepare a sample answer for that, and you need to somehow connect the job role that will be offered to you and your past experience, such that they combine and form and produces a really good cumulative effect. With that, the hiring manager can be impressed. So things not to say: simple, giving unrealistic or fake answers. Again, if you're giving unrealistic answer, your hiring manager, being an experienced person, will surely know, okay, you are faking it, you are being dishonest with him. answer with no example. So again, if you are just shooting arrows in the air, it won't help you. You are talking about a number of things, but you don't have any examples, so it's not believable. Okay, so you need to have some good examples to sustain your claims, whatever you are saying. Okay, sample answer that we have. So when I was in third year of my degree, I learned a great deal about prioritizing. Up until that point, I had never dealt with different tasks in my life. Okay, I was working on my project, was a member of organizing team for technical fest, and my sessional tests are also approaching. It came as a bit of a shock at first to manage and accomplish these tasks on time and without neglecting anything. However, I was able to manage them as project and technical fest can be worked upon in my leisure time, but tests have to be given priority. In the end, prioritizing my workload became second nature and is now something I do out of habit. Now this is a really beautiful answer. For example, this particular student is in third year. Okay, so he has three things coming up. His sessional tests are approaching. He is a member of the technical fest team. The third thing, okay, he is also working on a project. Now he has three tasks. He has to accomplish those three tasks within some deadlines that he must have to meet. But the thing is, he need to prioritize things. So what he prioritizes is, okay, his sessional test will not wait, and they will happen on time, and if he'll miss those sessional tests, obviously it will have a negative effect on his CGPA. So first thing he did was to prioritize. He gave priority to his CGPA, because at times if your CGPA is not that good, you will not be able to sit in really good company. So he gave priority to his CGPA. That's why he studied for those tasks, and also he utilized his leisure time for working upon on the technical fest, because he is in the organizing team. That means he must be working on how to organize, how to accomplish certain tasks, and also to work on his project. Now in the end, he said that now he learned prioritizing things, and now it actually become a second habit. Now this particular skill set will definitely help in this particular person in job. Okay, I hope you understood the context of this question. Now you'll be able to answer this question in a relatively relevant way. Okay, I thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much.